Hagerty Classic Car TV.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hagerty Classic Car TV. I'm just out for a drive in this 67 Shelby GT 500 with my friend David from Hagerty, and I realized I do not deserve this job. Let's check the news.
It's time for news.
The Lamborghini Gallardo LP 570-4 Super Trofeo Stradale was unveiled on Monday at the Frankfurt Auto Show. It's an evolution of the Super Trofeo series based on Lamborghini's LP 570 Superleggera, and only 150 cars will be produced. The V10 engine is capable of 570 horsepower and can go from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.4 seconds. The Panthermobile, created by master vehicle designer Jay Orberg for the Pink Panther show, is up for bid in an online auction through October 14th. Orberg was responsible for various TV and movie cars, including 2 Batmobiles, Knight Rider's Kit, and the Back to the Future DeLorean. Pre-sale estimates for the Panthermobile are between $81,000 and $163,000. To ride or not to ride? This 1957 Triumph TRW, auctioned at Monterey last month, came out of Canadian military storage approximately 40 years ago and had never been out of the original factory shipping crate. It came with the complete toolkit, the hardbound owner's manual, and a mere 15 test miles added by the factory. It sold for $34,500.
So, the big brains at Stanford want to know how to make cars and people communicate better. To find out, they wire a 1960 Porsche 356B Carrera Abarth GTL with sensors. They wire the driver, they set them loose on Laguna Seca Raceway, and here's what happened. What?
Stanford University.
Today we're instrumenting a 1960 Porsche Abarth Carrera. We have a whole slew of instruments that we're attaching to the car. We have a couple of GPS antennas and a radio link, which allow us to tell its position on the track to within about 1 to 2 centimeters. We also have laser ride height sensors, which will tell us how the car is moving relative to the road. Suspension sensors that will tell us how each part of the suspension is moving as the car goes through corners and accelerates on the straightaway. In addition to that, we have inertial sensors, accelerometers, and gyroscopes that are telling us how the driver is getting through the corner, as well as a whole bunch of instrumentation on the driver themselves.
We could also tell that you were sweating.
We have connected up the drivers with a number of different physical sensors, something to test their sweat, something to test their temperature, something to test their heart rate.
Your adrenaline was definitely pumping as well.
In the future, we're also going to be connecting up the brain and find out what the brain is doing.
All right, does that all feel like you've got full range of motion?
The whole idea is at the second a car is doing something, what is the driver doing and feeling?
What we want to learn from this is how the very best drivers get the most out of a car, so that we can develop advanced safety systems that will help even the average driver get that sort of performance out of their car in emergency situations. One of the projects that we've been working on involves an autonomous race car, an Audi TTS that's capable of calculating its own racing line and driving at the limits of its performance. What we'd love to be able to do is to compare the performance of that car to the best human drivers.
We are really studying in one way the interrelationship between man and the automobile, and getting hard data about how cars handle is one way to do that.
And if we can integrate all that, we'll really understand what a car and driver are as a team.
So for this week's ride-along, we're in a beautiful early 50s fiberglass body roadster, and no, it's not a Corvette. Check it out. All right, this week's ride-along is a 1954 Kaiser Darrin, and here to talk about is Jonathan Klinger from Hagerty. 1954 Kaiser Darrin, I'm assuming this is a German masterpiece.
Not quite. This is an American-built sports car. It was a marriage between the Kaiser Automobile Company and Howard Darrin, who was a body designer and bodybuilder.
Bodybuilder. He was well built.
As in automotive body construction.
I see. So what is going on with this car? It's really different.
Well, it's very unique. First of all, it's made entirely out of fiberglass, and one of the reasons for that was there was a steel shortage after World War II, and so people with lesser purchasing power, smaller companies, they had to resort to other sources. So it's made out of fiberglass. It actually is the first production U.S. fiberglass sports car. A lot of people think the Corvette was the first. This actually beat the Corvette by a month to the market.
Okay, 1954, Kaiser Darrin, starting. What purrs.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to handle and drive?
You will not win any races. This has about 90 horsepower is what it puts out, and it's got an F-head 6-cylinder engine, 3-speed manual transmission with overdrive, and it's about cruising. It's not about racing or drag racing. It's about going out for a cruise in this car.
Looking cool.
Looking cool.
So obviously a really rare car, pretty quirky looking. Can you kind of tell me about some of the quirks?
Well, the most notable feature of a Kaiser Darrin is the sliding pocket doors. So the two doors do not swing out on a hinge like virtually any car door that has ever been produced. They actually slide into the fenders, almost kind of like the sliding glass door in your house.
So, Kaiser Darrin, it's a blast. It's really fun, really forgiving. Great big wheel, helps you turn without the power steering, and it sounds cool, it looks cool. Keep going. See you later. So that's it for this week's episode of Hagerty Classic Car TV. Leave us a message. Remember, sign up for the email alerts, hagerty.com/classiccartv. And I don't know, I'm kind of thinking we should do a ride-along in this thing. Maybe next week. See you then.